Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Saturn in your second house of your Vedic horoscope. So Saturn, let's try to understand what is Saturn, and definitely watch my videos on Saturn in house 2 to get more understanding of what Saturn does when it's sitting in house 2. But let's talk about Saturn. What is Saturn? Saturn is delay. Saturn is patience, discipline, hard work, obstacles. Saturn is fairness, karma, like your karmic work. Are you doing the work properly, correctly? Are you treating everyone fairly? Saturn is servant. It's so on the hierarchy, it's at the very bottom. So it wants you to be more of a servant, like having servient attitude. If you're in a leadership position, it wants you to treat with everybody with a servient leadership type of a skill. Saturn is anxiety. Saturn can represent, if it has malefic influences, it can represent deceit, greed, jealousy, anything really that's kind of on the pain side. So anything that can give you pain in life. So Saturn can give you pain, physical pain in life as well as emotional pain. So Saturn is also a fair judge. Okay, so when you have Saturn-like qualities, you are eventually fair. You do fairness to the house Saturn is in. So let's talk about house 2. House 2 is your house of wealth. It's all of your accumulated wealth. It's your family that you're growing up in. It is your speech. It is also your mouth, the food that you take in. What do you do with your mouth? You speak also. It is your face. It is also the initial values that you're growing up in with. So the family, that you grew up with from age, say 0 to 4 or 5, something like that. So that's your house number 2. Now, when Saturn sits in that house, of course, eventually it's going to do justice to that house, but it delays a few things with that house, okay? So when I say Saturn, there's no where it sits. However, it can cause delay in the effectiveness of that house. So definitely watch my video on Saturn in your first house if you have that. So Saturn in second house could cause delay with your speech. Maybe you start speaking a little bit later than normal kids your age. Maybe you have issues with your food. Maybe you haven't quite gotten your food habits right. You're eating unhealthy foods. Maybe you have some kind of eating disorder initially, and then that's something you've got to work on in your life. You may have family issues, and you don't know when you start seeing those things. That could happen, after your 20s. That could happen before your 20s. Really depends on when it comes. But you will see family issues. You will see there could be separation in your family. You could have an unusual type of a family. You may not have the kind of family that you want or that you really crave. So you'll see something amiss in that. And it may not be that you'll see amiss in everything, in eating disorder, in your speech, in everything. It could be just one of the parts that could be affected because of the Saturn's placement there. So eventually though, wherever Saturn sits, it does justice to it, wherever it sits. So you will go through a lot of trials, tribulations, pain even, but eventually though, things should work out for you because Saturn is a teacher. It is, Jupiter's a teacher, but Saturn is a tough teacher. It's going to teach you the hard lessons in life. So now let's talk about Saturn's aspects. If Saturn is in your second house, Saturn's going to have 3 aspects. The first one is going to be on your 4th house. Let's talk about that. And so Saturn's 3rd aspect. So 4th house is a house of your mother. It's a house of your family environment, house of your happiness. So it's a big house. House of your happiness. Can you imagine that? And house of your heart in the body parts. It is also the house of your real estate, your home itself, your vehicles. So house 4 rules a lot of things. It's a very big house. It's also cardinal home, which means Kendra. So it's a big house. Now, when Saturn is placing an aspect on that house, it wants you to work hard in that house. It requires you to continue to work hard in that house. That house isn't just coming to you. There could be some problems that may come in that house, but you'll have to work hard at it to continue to make sure that house is good for you. That house may require you to show courage. You may say, that house is not good. You may have issues with your mother, say. And you may say, my mother's just not listening to me. I don't have the kind of mother that I want. Things like that. Whereas if Saturn's own sign is placed in that house, say it's the lord of that house is say Capricorn or Aquarius, you actually do have a great mother. You just need to see that you do. You have to show courage that yes, that house is really great. And then that house will become great. You have to really show the courage, okay? House 3 in Kalpurish Kundali, in any horoscope, is a house of courage, hard work. So when you have Saturn's third aspect being placed on a house, you've got to show courage in that house that yes, everything is great in that house. That's mostly for the third aspect. And yes, you will have issues. You can have issues with your family environment. That could be anytime, 20s, 30s, 40s, even initially when you're growing up. Family environment could be not conducive to how you like it. It may be unconventional, You may have issues with your happiness itself. You may not be able to build a home up to a certain amount of time. That could be a delay there. So that's what you'll see usually with the third aspect on the fourth house. Now let's talk about the next aspect, which is Saturn's seventh aspect directly on house number 8 from where it's sitting. What does Saturn want you to do when it's directly looking at the house? It is judging whether you're being fair to that house, okay? It wants to see your discipline in that house. How much of a discipline are you maintaining? How fair are you being? How hard are you working in that house? It's like Shiv Shakti. So that fairness, what you give to it, what you get back in most 7 aspects. So say in the second house, that's 8th house. What is 8th house? 8th house is your research work. It's the depth, things that you go do more research on, secret work. It is the house of in the body parts, your bottom part of your body. So if your mouth is where you take the food in, this is where you get the food out, okay? It is also your in-laws. So if 7 is your spouse, then 8 is the family of your spouse. So it could be the family of your spouse. It doesn't have to be just in-laws as in parents of your spouse. It could be the whole extended family of your in-laws too. So Saturn wants to make sure you're not taking any kind of shortcuts. You're not deceiving them. You're not being unfair to them. Remember, there are going to be conditions created in your life where you feel like, they're treating me unfairly, so I'm going to treat them unfairly. That's a test that Saturn is putting in front of you. So try to pass that test and Saturn will be happy. So that's the 7th aspect of it on the 8th house. The next aspect of Saturn is the 10th aspect and one of the most important aspects. This is on house number 11. House number 11. House number 11 is your income. It's your success, awards, achievements. It's your older siblings. It's your network, your friends group. It is your father's younger siblings. So you can see it represents a lot of homes, but a lot of higher income is mostly seen from that because 10 is work. 11 is your result from that work. So when Saturn is placing an aspect on that home, that is going to be one of your most troublesome aspect. Just like, if you want to watch Mars 8th aspect is one of the strugglesomes, and definitely watch those videos on Mars aspects. Similarly, Saturn's 10th aspect is going to be hard work. It's going to be where you're going to require the most karma. Because in the Kalpurish Kundali, the 10th house is the house of karma, right? And Saturn is the actual owner of that house. So the 10th aspect is a special aspect that Saturn has where it is going to see, are you working hard in that home or are you taking shortcuts, okay? The fairness is different. That's more on the house 7th aspect, sorry. This is where hard work is required. This is your place of work, okay? So 11th house, your place of work is going to be with your older siblings, with your friends, with your networks, with how to get your higher income, how to get your awards, achievements, success, those type of things. So that's going to be struggling. You're going to work hard a lot more in your life, maybe even until 40 years of age. Saturn matures around 36. By mature, it means it starts to get a little better. Doesn't mean it immediately gets better, matures. So you will see a lot more fruits of your hard work, labor, at 40 plus of years of age, but that's where your aspect 11 is. You will see that struggle. If you have Saturn in your second house, I would like to know if this is something that resonates with you. And we do offer personal horoscope consultations. If you're facing struggle with anything, reach out to us. Maybe we could help you out. And thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, hit like, share, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. Well, thank you so much for watching.